Did you all have a nice 4th of July? This video is going to cover a few different things. Number one, I want to share with you the beautiful, fantastic display of fireworks that was just above our housing complex, and it was so close that there was shrapnel, if you will, little pieces of paper of the fireworks that were showering down upon us in the parking lot. That's how close they were, and it was amazing. The second thing that I wanted to share with you is how simple it is to create a cooking video if that is what you decide that you want to do for a niche. If you want to start a YouTube channel, it doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to have lots of overhead cameras and studio lights. And I figured a good way to show you that was to show you how I make my much asked for chili. When it comes to events, people just seem to really love my chili and they ask me if I'll make it. So I figured I could show you the simple way of putting together a video for cooking my chili, and to show you that it's really quite simple. And I am only going to be using my overhead lighting in my living room, open concept living room, kitchen area, and my phone, and that's it. So, hi, I'm Darlene, and this is Darlene's Retired Life, and on this channel I discuss things in retirement. I share little cooking health tips as well as my YouTube life. If you want to start a YouTube channel, I kind of give you some hints and tips along the way. So I hope you enjoy this video, and at the end throw in some comments. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you tried my chili and how it came out, and if you liked it. And until the next video, I will see you later. Enjoy the video. Bye. My phone is angled down at my cutting board, just using a selfie stick. And I am going to be chopping up this onion for the chili. Cut the ends off. And after peeling, we're simply going to be chunking this up into fairly large chunks. I like really large chunks of onion in my chili. And then immediately after, I just turned around and set up my camera on the stove, angled at my frying pan. And it is just such a simple setup. So then you're going to go ahead and you're going to place the onions in your pan. I use black beans, red beans by Goya. And I'm going to get these cans opened, and I have extra virgin olive oil. I probably put about 2 tablespoons in the pan, and we're just going to give that a good stir and make sure that the bottom of the pan is coated well and all of the onions are coated well with the olive oil. And then while this simmers, right now it's in pretty good chunks, but as this cooks down, it will break apart quite easily. I use diced tomatoes, and then I use some mild tomatoes with some green chilies in it. All right, so this is starting to cook down pretty good. As you can see, the onions are starting to break apart, and they're getting a little bit translucent, and it's looking good. Just keep on giving it a stir until they've cooked down a bit more. I like to add some minced garlic to the pan right about at this point. I'd say probably about 2 tablespoons. And then we're just going to stir that around and give it a good mixture, but you don't want it to burn. So we're going to have our heat starting on high, but then at this point, we're going to turn it down to medium. All right, that's looking really good. Now we're going to put in about 1.5 pounds of ground beef. I use 90% lean and then some hot and spicy taco seasoning. I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle this all over the ground beef. And then I'm going to mix it in really well, give it a good stir. That is looking really, really good. Right at this point, I start really smelling all of the wonderful aromas from all of the ingredients as they're starting to cook down together. So once you've mixed that really, really well, we are going to go ahead and we're going to add our beans. First, we're going to add the red beans, and I didn't drain these at all. You want the liquid that is in the can with the red beans. I'm going to make sure that I scrape every little bean out of the can and then add the second one. You can do this with just one can of beans if you wish for a smaller batch, but this is for a community gathering, so I'm making a double batch. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the black beans, but I did drain a little bit of the liquid out of the black beans. I didn't need quite so much liquid as what they had in the black beans. You want some liquid because we're not going to add any water at all, and that helps to thicken the chili. So we're going to stir in those beans really well. That is looking really, really good, guys. And it's starting to smell good at this point too. Add the tomatoes, both cans. This really is quite a simple recipe. I threw this together myself probably a couple of years ago, just throwing a bunch of things together. And it turned out to be amazing. People really seem to love it. So mix in those tomatoes really, really well. I'm going to give it a taste. And I'm going to need to add just a little bit more salt and pepper. Okay, that's the last of the spices that I add. Go to your taste. Go according to your taste. You could always add more on in your bowl. And give that a really good stir. Now we want to thicken up the sauce just a little bit. So I use cornstarch and water. Some people use a little bit of flour and water, but I use cornstarch and water. I use probably about a really good heaping teaspoon in just a few ounces of water, and I mix that up really, really well. And once your chili has started to come to a really good boil, that's when you're going to add your cornstarch and water mixture. Excuse me. We are just going to make sure that we whisk that in really, really good as we're pouring it in slowly. We don't want it to get too thick, so just add in a little bit at a time. A little bit more. And eventually I am going to end up using the whole entire mixture. Because as you could see, it's looking really good, but it could use just a little more. So if it seems to be still a little thin for you, then just go ahead and use your own judgment and add a little bit more of that cornstarch and water mixture. So I added the rest in, and I'm just going to give that a really good mix. And it's optional, but I'm going to add probably about 1/8 of a cup of nutritional yeast. It kind of gives it a little bit of a cheesy flavor. And like I said, that's totally up to you. It's not something that needs to be added. Sometimes I don't. Okay. So again, make sure this is mixed in thoroughly. Once you mix that in, go ahead and cover it and probably let it simmer. Turn down the heat and let it simmer for probably about 10-15 minutes. And that's all that it takes, really. Then I put it into the crock pot, got it ready to take down to the community room, and she was ready to go. The third thing that I wanted to share with you is our grand finale of the fireworks.